In this lecture, we are going to implement Chatter API with the help of our Salesforce effects. So in our earlier lecture, we did how we can create the post, like the post, create the groups, create the comments, reply to that comment, send the message. All these we did in our previous lectures. Now this is the last lecture of our section where we are talking about Chatter REST API, where we will implement Chatter REST using Apex. We will also see how we can prepare a URL with the help of an Apex. And then we will also talk about what assignment I have for you all so that you can practice more with the Chatter REST API. So let's quickly go ahead and start implementing. This is a simple class that I have created, Salesforce Chatter util, and inside this class I have a very simple method, create chatter post, which is nothing, it is a simple skeleton method where I'm going to put all these bodies means all the code that I need to put. But before I go ahead, let me quickly walk you through what I told you in the first or second lecture of this section. So we talked about how we can prepare the URL. This is a very important thing because if either we wanted to get or we wanted to post, we must need to have a URL, a complete URL with instance URL, version info, and source URL. So how we are going to do that? For that, first thing is that to get the instance URL. How we will get that? So in Salesforce, there is a class, okay, and the class name is URL, which is there inside system namespace. So we will say system.url dot, and then it has a method called get Salesforce base URL. It is going to give you the Salesforce base URL, which is nothing, which is this. And then what you need to do is you need to say to external form. Why we are saying this to external form? Because we wanted to get in the form of external URL. Now let me quickly show you what will be the outcome of this URL, and then what will be the outcome of this complete, so that you can also quickly understand what we are talking about and there will not be any confusion in your mind. So I'm just going to put system.debug, and this is nothing, this is my URL which I wanted to get. Execute this. Now you can see here it is saying that let me quickly try to give it a room. Here you can see it is saying that delegate equal to this. If I use this, it is going to give me this complete URL inside an array, which I don't want. What I want is I want only this URL. So for that, what we need to do is instead of using that, we have to use a method called toExternalForm. Once you execute the code and try to see the debug, this time you will see, right, this is what the URL we want. That is how we need to say we want to get the URL in the external form. Now we got the base URL. Next thing what we need to do is, first thing we need to see this /, this is very important. After that, what is it is saying that services data, and then again the API name. What we will do is we will say services data, and then API name, you can say version 5010. I will suggest put this inside a label, a custom label, and use that custom label over here. So in near future, if you wanted to change the API version, you can just go ahead and change that. I'm not going to do this, but I'll suggest to go ahead and change that. Next, what we need to do is you have this chatter feed, news, me, feed elements. This is what actually we need. So what you can do is I'm just going to copy this URL. This is the URL that I'm going to hit. So we just prepared our URL. This ID is going to be dynamic ID, but for so far I'm just going to show you a very simple call out that we can make. If you wanted to pass the ID over here dynamically, you can just create a URL parameter, not URL, and send that. So for that, you might wanted to send record ID. That record ID might be the record ID or a feed ID based on your requirement that you can use. I'm just going to ignore this for now. Now we need to see what we wanted to do with this. Okay, what ID is this and what we wanted to do. So we wanted to post a, we can say we wanted to reply to a chatter post because this ID is of ID for a chatter post. Okay, we can just go ahead. For that, what we will do is we will prepare a request. Over here we have got this request. We will say in the request we have this set body, sorry, not set body, we have set endpoint, and in the endpoint this is the URL, this complete URL we have. And then again we will say HTTP request set method. What method we wanted to do? We wanted to perform post operation. We will say post. Now, as Salesforce requires OAuth 2.0, we must need to send some access token. So how we will send that access token? So we will say set header, and key is going to be authorization, and value is going to be user info.get session ID, the logged in user session ID, because we wanted to perform all these operations based on or in the context of a logged in user. That is what we have given session ID. Session ID is nothing. This is the access token that we actually get. Now we have got this. Now we also need to send some body. What body we need to send? First, let's quickly talk about what operation we wanted to perform. We wanted to reply to a feed post where this is saying that this is the chatter ID. So what body we need to see? Again, this is the body we use for replying. I'm going to copy this. Go to admin booster tool, paste your JSON body over here, generate apex, and under this, just copy this JSON string. This is what we need. And then go to developer console, paste it over somewhere. You can just say string JSON and use this body. I will again put that body in the HTTP request, set body, and this is what I have got is JSON and body. Now I have everything. I have got endpoint, method, body, header. I just need to send that request to the system. That's it. For sending the request, again we are using the same concept with the help of try catch. If it is 200, as it is a post request, we are going to add one more status code which we know as 201, that is 201. Now we got this. Again, you have seen there is some error message which is saying that endpoint. I'm not going to add. I just wanted to see either it is going to throw the error. If it will throw the error, we'll add that endpoint. If not, we no need to add, because as it is an internal access, it should not throw the error. But I'm not sure. I haven't tried this for this particular thing. Most of the time when I tried, I added those into the remote side setting for the safer side. So in this case, I'm not sure what it is going to give the result, but let's see what will be the result. We got this. It said that missing arguments message creating a comment requires text. That means we have some error. So we have given body message segment. Yes, one thing that we forget is in our request we must need to add a content type. What content of data? What type of sorry? What data we are sending? What is the type of that data? So it is content type, and it will be application by JSON. Now, if you see here, right, we didn't get the error for which is saying that adding the remote site setting unauthorization error we did not get, and the reason is as this is an internal API. Earlier in 42 or 43 API version of Salesforce, it was required to add as a Salesforce remote site setting, but after that it Salesforce has removed to add the remote site setting for the same org if you are making an API call. That is why it is not required. Now let's try again. You can see we got response from server 44 line. Let's first check what is the debug line. This 44, that means it is a success, and we are getting whatever we have got. Now you can see here we have got this reply over here. So that is how you prepare your Salesforce request for preparing for executing any Salesforce internal API. In the coming lectures of our course, we also have plans to more exciting things related to Salesforce integration.